Hello and welcome to the LSEC Bexley College campus here at the platform. I'm Louis Watkins. I'm joined here today by the MP James Brokenshire. Welcome.
Very nice to meet you. Good to be here.
Okay, so originally you've already come here, you've had a tour of the college, you've seen what we do. What do you think, first of all?
I think it's actually really exciting to see the opportunities that are on offer here and how this provides a bridge, a platform into the workplace, actually stretching people, getting the right skills in place, and actually a really great place to be able to study. And so I've been really impressed by the whole atmosphere here and how it's really directed in ensuring that people can get on, fulfill their potential, really fulfill their ambitions and their opportunities here. So a really great thing that we've got here in Bexley.
You just mentioned ambitions. First question I want to ask is, what were your ambitions in school or college?
Well, when I was studying at school, I thought I'd be a lawyer, and so I went and worked hard and got my qualifications and went into the law. Something that interested me on how you actually set the framework, the regulations to bring about change, and I think it sort of set me in pretty good stead for what I do now as a Member of Parliament, where actually a lot of what we do is about creating new law. So, something that changed things, and going into politics is very much about trying to stand up for people, give people a voice, and try and make that difference for the community that you represent, and was something that I had the ambition to do from a fairly young age, probably similar age to you, and I feel very lucky to have been able to do that by working hard and just trying to make the opportunities open up for you. And sometimes that is about just really putting the hours in and seeing how that can provide some things that you might not have expected opening up before you.
Maybe not, yeah. So also, considering talking about jobs, everyone's at the start somewhere. You've always wanted to work in law. What was your first proper job? Was it in law? Was it outside of it?
I suppose my first job was a Saturday job when I worked in Boots the Chemist. So just actually getting into work, working with the public. But beyond that, I suppose, yes, no, my first job was in the law, getting a training contract and working my way up through my law firm. And I suppose it is just working hard, trying to get those opportunities. I did misspend a lot of my time at university, actually, on the student radio station. So again, in a funny way, on some of the things that I do now in politics and in government, on having to do media and things like that, but certainly equipping me with some practical skills too. So just opening up those horizons.
Yeah. 1 second. Right, so I fumbled.
Yeah. Right.
In terms of the board, I believe on December 11th, they're going to be discussing the EU withdrawal, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, in Parliament, we have what's coming up on the meaningful vote as to whether to approve the deal that we've agreed with the European Union in principle to take our country out of the EU, but on terms where we're able to now look towards a new free trade agreement, new opportunities on services as well, and equally on security. So a really important moment in Parliament for MPs like myself to decide whether to accept this deal, which I hope my colleagues will, because otherwise I think that you're looking at real uncertainty then as to whether you'd have no deal with us leaving the European Union on the 29th of March with no agreement being in place, or potentially no Brexit, which I would say that the public didn't vote for in the referendum back in 2016. So it's getting that stability, certainty, so that we can get on with the job, which is what I think a lot of the public want us to do, or have a real uncertainty, stability and greater division, which I don't think this country needs.
Maybe not. I was going to say, because in terms of the people, there's a lot of backlash that's been on about it. So don't you think that the people maybe want a bit more of a say about it?
Well, ultimately, the public had that say back in 2016 on the referendum, and whether you supported or opposed, there was a vote in favour for us to leave the European Union. And whilst I voted for Remain at that time, I think there is a duty to give effect to that referendum, which is what the Prime Minister and the government have been doing, negotiating with the European Union. And there's a positive deal that we can take forward that gives effect to that vote, but equally creates jobs, sees our economy moving forward, as well as dealing with really important issues of security and our place in the world. So, I think positive things that we can take from that, whilst reflecting, giving effect to that referendum, as well as dealing with some of those issues on money and borders and our laws.
Yeah. Okay, before I got backtracked, I was going to obviously mention you're a member of Parliament for Old Bexley and Sidcup. Like, what do you find the most rewarding part of being a member of Parliament?
As an MP, you have the opportunity to do all sorts of different things, like actually coming here today. And of course, a lot of this is about what happens in Parliament, but a lot of this is also about what happens here in our community. So going to and dealing with my advice surgery, actually practically helping people who are in a difficult place, looking to you to help, and actually being able to do that for them is hugely rewarding. I've also been a big campaigner for the hospital in my constituency, Queen Mary's Hospital in Sidcup, which I've championed, seen investment going into there now, and I'm proud as to what we have achieved there. Yes, not in the way that I would have ideally have chosen at the start, but to see investment with a new cancer centre there, a new kidney treatment centre there, the hospital now being much more positive on its future and delivering good quality, world-class in many respects, NHS services to the local area. That's something that I'm proud to have been involved in, and I'll continue to champion.
All right, something a bit more personal I want to ask. I'm sure you've heard about Article 13.
Tell me a little bit more.
So Article 13 is essentially just a more enforced version of like copyright law. So if anyone wants to like use recreational sort of content, like they use a video online, they want to put it into their own work, they won't be able to do that because of copyright laws being more stricter. It will take their content down. I just wanted to know like your say on it.
I think there are always some challenges on the investment that people put into creative ideas. So it's what copyright in many ways is about, where someone has really spent time and effort to actually create some content. So whether that be television companies, the BBC, ITV, or other production companies too. And therefore there's always that, I suppose, tension that exists on whether somehow you use some of that, how to protect respective rights. So I don't think there are sort of easy answers around all of this, but we have to find a way that promotes creativity, actually something this country has been just so good at, whilst respecting and recognising the rights that can go in at every step of the way. And of course, the big content channels like YouTube and others, how they try to marry some of these challenges off, where someone may argue that actually someone has taken something that we have spent money, time and effort in to create that, protecting that, against some people wanting then to develop things further. So there is a live debate around all of this on the digital environment and how we promote that sense of creativity, but one that I think still needs some careful thought.
Yeah. Right, so real quick, just a bit more. I've had some of my personal say. What about yours? Because like I've heard that you're into like walking, cricket, music, music being a big part in the media industry. I want to know some like your favourite like music artists.
Yeah, I sort of grew up and in where some of the sort of 70s and 80s and early 90s was sort of some of my musical influences. But I don't know. Today I've sort of mellowed a little bit. I'm really really enjoy listening to someone like Michael Bublé. And just the way in which he's taken a very old genre and made it really relevant, really really hip, really in fashion. And so yeah, and there's people like that as as much as anything else that when you get back from a busy day at work and wanting to chill out and relax, put that on and enjoy it.
Yeah. Thank you. Like I would like to talk more, but we've run out of time.
I know,
really, so
as always. Really nice to see you. And wish you well.
Yeah, wish you well. Thank you for watching as well. Just remember, you can tweet us, for example, at LSEC Bexley or use the hashtag #ThePlatform. I've been Louis Watkins, and thank you for watching.